So 2 weeks ago, I did a brand new release, first impressions of the first hour of the brand new release by Parfums De Marly, one of my favorite introductory niche houses, and it was Parfums De Marly Perseus. And so I got a 10 milliliter decant in from Decant House or Decant X, I can't remember. Parfums De Marly always has some of the best introductory niche fragrances. For the cool weather, they have Herod, they have Carlisle, they have Leighton. For the warm weather, they have Sedley and Greenlee and Perseus and a bunch of other ones. So this was the first warm weather one that they've released since they've gotten bought out. And I was really looking forward to it because, again, the spring and summer is on the way out. And when I first got it in, the first impression, that first hour, it was underwhelming. I mean, it was a good fragrance. It's just when you buy a fragrance for $300 to $400 upon release, it's like you really expect to have something that is great. Well, thank goodness I got a decant because I only found it slightly above average, but how has it changed? So over the last 2 weeks, I have worn it either on my hand or a full wearing every single day, and so now we're going to be doing my full review with the performance and everything of Parfums De Marly Perseus. So without further ado, let's get it. What's going on, my great smelling dudes? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Randy, aka Fragrance Dude. Thank you guys so much for joining me for yet another full review of a brand new release here in 2024. And now we're not talking about a designer, we're talking about an introductory niche by Parfums De Marly. Before we get into the video, if you do like my content, make sure that you hit that subscribe button. Also smash that like, whether you're new or not. Comment below, let me know what you think about this fragrance. You're allowed to like it even if I don't. You're allowed to hate it even if I love it. So definitely let me know what your thoughts are on this fragrance. And then again, also, if you haven't already, make sure to go check out the rest of my content. I have some first impressions, full reviews, scent of the day posts, all that good stuff. So definitely check it out. With that said, today we're going to be doing my full review of this brand new release by Parfums De Marly. It is Perseus. So I did my first impressions 2 weeks ago. When it first came in, I was kind of over the moon. I was really excited to try out a warm weather Parfums De Marly, and their first release, really, outside of Altair. I think that might have been their first release since they got bought out. If you didn't know, Parfums De Marly got bought out by a new company. I'm guessing Initio as well. And so now this is their first fresh release for men since they released. And to be honest with you, as far as my opinions of Altair, I thought it just smelled like a much more expensive Club Black with a twist. And honestly, I had that out here right now. Mercedes-Benz Club Black, I like better. Yes, they're different, but they have enough similarities where I would rather take Club Black over that. So to me, that was kind of just a waste as far as I would not spend the $200 to $300 on discounters for that fragrance. If you like it, you like it. And then Perseus came in. When I did my first impressions over the first hour, I told you it reminded me of quite a few fragrances, and then it dried down as a lot of vetiver. So has that changed? Well, let me give you the full note breakdown so that, because we don't do that in the first impressions, and now we can understand the notes and you guys can follow along with me. So the top notes in Parfums De Marly Perseus are grapefruit, bergamot, and black currant. The mid notes are green mandarin, vetiver, and geranium, and the base notes are dry wood, cashmere wood, and ambergris. So I am going to spray this on just to give myself a bit of a reminder. Again, I think I got this from Decant House. I thought it was Decant X for a second because I kept telling everybody that, but it was Decant House. And I got 10 milliliters, which is enough for me. And I'm also going to send a few milliliters over to Ross so he can try it out. So what does this fragrance smell like? Well, in my first impressions, I told you it smelled like two fragrances mixed together in the opening, and it still does, and I brought them out here. Well, I brought the one out here. It smells a lot like this, Terre d'Hermes Eau Gevrey, but I like Eau Gevrey better. But in the opening, it smells like this, mixed together with a tiny bit of Dolce & Gabbana's Light Blue Forever. You kind of just smash those two together, or Light Blue Italian Love kind of in the same realm. If you smash these two together, with this one being the more prominent, and add a lot of vetiver on the bottom, that is exactly what you have in the opening. It is a fresh, citrusy grapefruit, rinded grapefruit. While this is rinded citron, it does come across as rinded grapefruit. Almost comes off a bit metallic. It has a little bit of spice in there. It's aromatic, it's fresh, it's airy, it's clean. Honestly, the opening smells very nice, but it smells like it's been done before. And so I can't knock it for that. The opening smells definitely above average. Is it going to wow the niche people out there? Absolutely not. Is it going to smell great to the people who are average Joes going into a Nordstrom to try it out? I think that the opening people are going to go, yeah, that's really good. And yeah, it is. If you've tried this before, or you tried the Light Blue Forever and Italian Love, which I'm not a huge fan of, it's just it kind of has that rinded grapefruit mixture that blends in with it. Yeah. I mean, it's good. It has a little bit of the bergamot and a little bit of the fruitiness from that black currant, but the black currant is really not existent in here. It provides a little bit of a fruity undertone. But what you're looking at is just kind of like an effervescent, slightly sharp citrus here in the opening. A little bit rinded, but yeah. It's nice. It's nothing that's breaking the bank. And again, in that realm, I would rather choose Terre d'Hermès Eau Gevrey. I think it's a little bit, people say niche or higher quality, but to be honest with you, to me, this one seems a bit higher quality in the opening. And then I told you guys that it started to dry down. And after about 30 minutes, once that citrus starts to dissipate, the grapefruit does stay there for quite a long time. You get a little bit of an aromatic, spicy tone coming in from the geranium and a little bit of a woodiness. But yeah, it turns into a lot of vetiver. And I did not expect that. So once you get into the mid, that light blue kind of goes out the window, and then it kind of becomes a mixture of these two. Eau Gevrey and Roja Elysium, because Roja Elysium is more of like a citrus salad, and in the at least in the opening, and then it has a nice vetiver and aromatic tone underneath it. Well, this one in the opening, it's a lot of grapefruit. It's an effervescent, fresh grapefruit, and then as you get about 10 to 15 minutes into the fragrance, the bergamot starts to creep in a bit more. You get that nice citrus salad mixture, where it starts to get closer to Elysium as that vetiver is pulling up as well. The fragrance is still pretty good at that point in time. Is it anything breaking the bank? Again, no. I would say it's around like a 7.8 to a 7.9, something like that. Nothing crazy, but it does smell pretty good. Yeah, it's the opening for me is like an 8. Then like after 10 to 15 minutes, it's like a 7.9. And then it kind of starts to work its way down from there. It never smells bad. It's just after about 30 to 40 minutes, this fragrance starts to just get almost to be about 40 to 50% a dry vetiver woodiness. So there is that dry woods in there. The cashmere wood, you can only sense that cashmere wood. It's almost like an effervescent woodiness in that opening. Almost comes off like ambroxan-ish. But as you get to the dry down, it's almost just like a very dry vetiver mixed together with a very dry woods. And you smash those two together with a little bit of an undertone from that opening, which starts to fade away at about an hour. And then you're left where you pretty much have a touch of geranium underneath, a wallop of vetiver and woods. That's what the fragrance is. Does it smell bad? No. Is it anything really that's interesting? No. It has a little bit of a dry, earthy tone to it, which is to be expected from something like vetiver. I mean, vetiver is in a lot of fresh fragrances. Does it come off like super synthetic? No, it does not. It still feels hyper realistic. Does it smell like it's fully natural? No. It's kind of just in the middle. It smells like it's a Parfums De Marly quality fragrance. It's just the dry down is kind of just boring. There's nothing that warrants a $300 purchase. And you guys can talk all you want, because I know there's some people, there is people from all different walks of life that come through the fragrance community and my channel as a whole, from people who are willing to spend $600 on one purchase to other people who are willing to buy maybe 1 or 2 clones every few months. It's just, that's the way it is. And so I like to, personally, I made a deal with my wife that I wouldn't buy any fragrances over $250, which I think is a good deal, because there's a lot of fragrances like Creeds and PDMs and Rojos that you can find on Venba fragrance and whatnot under $250 if you're looking at the right time. So, I mean, I will occasionally spend a little bit over that, but it has to be a special fragrance. And I have always said, when it comes to higher end fragrances, the ones that are more expensive, they have to be a love for you. And for me, this is not a love. This is something that if I can take a fragrance that's $300 and I can compare it, more than 30% comparisons to other fragrances, this one, Light Blue Forever, then it's not going to warrant a purchase, especially when you can get this one for $80 on Joma Shop and this one for $175 on Venba. I mean, I would rather have both of those over Parfums De Marly Perseus. Is it a bad smelling fragrance? No. I think that pretty much anybody who smells it is going to say, that smells nice. The dry down, nah. I can see some people not liking that, because vetiver is an acquired taste. But with that said, the vetiver is clean and fresh, but has a dryness to it, a little bit of a woody take to it, and then it has another even more dry woodiness underneath it. But the vetiver is the most dominant part of the fragrance. So now let's get into the performance. The performance, honestly, is right on par with other Parfums De Marly fresh flankers. I would say it's closer to the one with Percival, which Percival is about 6 hours, 6 to 7 hours, while for me, Sedley is about 7 to 8. And Greenlee is kind of in that realm too. I get about 6 to 7 hours with this. The performance isn't crazy, the projection and sillage. The sillage is about 3 feet for an hour, and then it kind of just calms down. As far as the projection is concerned, it's a little bit above average, maybe between moderate and above average for the first hour to hour and a half. Then it starts to become a personal bubble. It is a personal bubble for about 2.5 to 3 hours. Then it starts to creep down, and it's more of a closer to the skin scent, more of a personal enjoyment type scent until hour 6 to 7, which at that point in time, it's almost not noticeable. So as far as a fresh fragrance, that's a good performance, good projection, all that stuff. So you don't have to worry about that. It's just overall, the fragrance is kind of boring and dull. That's the best way for me to put it. As the opening is nice, effervescent, citrusy, almost a slight bit metallic, like I said, a little bit of a fruity tone under there, but it just kind of reminds me, after a few minutes, of these two guys mashed together, just not as good. And then once it dries down, it gets closer to this. It's almost like Elysium if you add in a shit ton of vetiver. That's what it is, and some dry woods. It has that citrus salad that starts to fade after about 40 minutes. Overall, I would give the fragrance probably like a 7.2 to a 7.5. It is nothing that breaks the bank. It is nothing that I would recommend blind buying. It is more for, again, the spring and summer season. I wouldn't wear it outside of that. It's not like Percival, where it's spring and summer, but you can also wear it all year round. This is going to be more fresh, clean citrus that you want to wear during the warmer months for sure. I would say 60 degrees or higher is probably good. With that said, Percival doesn't do anything for me. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about it. It's going to be one that you can wear to work pretty much any season. I mean, any situation. You can wear it to work. You can wear it on a date, but it's more of a daytime situational fragrance. But with that said, let me know what you guys think. And again, I will be back with another one. That was Parfums De Marly Perseus. Thank you guys so much. Peace out.